Alright, what's up everybody? Brian Baker here with Hunt Fish Camp. I have caved it and ice fishing. I now run forward facing sonar for that. You've probably seen it if you've been watching my videos the last few weeks. Seen this fishfindermounts.com shuttle that I've been using to get that all hauled around. And that's what this video is all going to be about. It's going to be the things I like about this shuttle system, the things I don't like about it, all of that. This is something that I bought. They didn't send it to me, so I will give an honest review on what I think about it. So if you are looking for a shuttle system, looking at like the big brands like Summit, for example, but looking for something a little different, this is one that you can definitely check out. So with that, let's get to it. Let's show you what I got. All right, so turn this now so you can see exactly what's going on in here. But in this big giant bag, which I wanted a system that would house and have a bag to close in my 12-inch Lowrance unit, because I took this off of my boat. So if you are somebody who does not want to fork out a whole bunch of extra cash on separate ice fishing systems, which we only can do for 4 or 5 months out of the year, and then you have the whole system in your boat as well, this is what I did. And actually pretty pleased with how it went down. So here's my unit. This is normally on the front end of my boat that I took off for that. I'll pull this whole thing out of the bag to show you how their system works here. One of the big reasons, so here this is the whole system. I pick this all up. This is everything. So this is battery. Everything is in there. It's a 30 amp hour battery, which is awesome. You can see this actually has a handle on the front for carrying around that battery, which is really one of the big reasons I got this system is for this battery. So it's a 30 amp hour battery meant to run the Active Target live units. Runs it for about 7 hours is what it does. So I'm toying with some ideas on having a backup battery to be able to switch it over if I'm going to be fishing an entire day and I don't want to stop to try to charge or that kind of stuff. So, but because it's this whole system, I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it in my boat as well in the summer. So in the boat, the Active Target takes a lot of juice, and so I'm always worried about my batteries, my motor starting, and so I'm going to take a little pressure off of that, and I'm going to use the Active Target just to run the black box. So my sonar will still be attached to the regular battery, same way it always has been, but it'll take just a little bit of stress off of my system that I currently have in my boat. And it's going to be pretty easy actually, because I'll just take this whole thing and I'm going to put it right into my rod locker actually on the driver's side, so where I put random extra stuff, rain gear, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to put this down in there and then run the cables just to the black box, which are already there. So all I have to do is turn that on and things will be good to go. Not using it, turn it off, all that kind of business. So pretty cool. All right, so a few things that, so when I get this bundle, so the few things that I've got. So we've got the bag, got this green thing down here. This is the battery. It's where everything mounts. This black box here, that is my Active Target, the Active Target black box. If you have Garmin, you have the same kind of deal. And then, of course, the head unit itself for my screens. And then a pull, which I have extended super far right now for running my, running the transducer. The ice is getting pretty thick, so it is got to go down a long ways right now. So let's first talk about the things that I really like about this. So I like the battery system, how that's totally contained in itself. Now, in a few years, when this battery starts to go, I'll be kind of committed to getting a similar system. Can't just switch it out quite as easily. Though I do have a little 20 amp hour battery that I might use as a backup. And it wouldn't be too hard to just add the plug to it, and then I'd have to have that separate. The bag is huge, so I've actually looked at, I could actually set that in with this. It would just add that much more weight. It's already a big heavy mess, so I don't really want to do that, so I haven't decided there. But so another thing that I really like about this is actually how customizable the mounting is for this. And so I loosened up my unit in the back there, so I can actually pull this up. It slides up the pole in the back. I can turn it sideways, this way, that way. So depending on where I want to put this, when it's in my sled, on the ice, whatever, I can also take out, so you can see back behind here, it's mounted to this pole. I can mount that up towards the front and actually it sits out, which I'm actually going to, that's where I started with it, and I'm going to put it back there. I put it in this, back down, there we go. I put it in the back just to keep it more compact, I guess, but I actually like it a lot when it was up there, and I would just turn it out, and then it fit in the bag slightly better too, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But it's really nice. I can add a longer pole, so you can actually raise this up, so it could be up this high if I really wanted it to. So if you're somebody who doesn't want to be staring down, kind of cool stuff that you want to do. For me, keep it mounted low, not too worried about it. So I use both my long poles for my pole mount for that. Okay, and that's, I mean, everything else is pretty basic. Switches, everything on the side for plugging in, that kind of stuff, charging, all that's pretty easy and nice. And then I guess really the last big reason I got this system is, which I think I already said it, I guess, but is I'll be able to put this straight up into the boat. It's not just itself battery. I'm literally going to set this into a compartment. Now, obviously, I'll be careful with bouncing around, that kind of stuff. So while I'm experimenting with it, eventually they do sell a mounting plate for it, so I may mount it in a dedicated spot where it's a quick release, so you can pop it in and out, which would be pretty cool for future use. So if I decide that's what I'm gonna always use in the summer to run my active target, if that helps my battery usage, then that's what I'm gonna do. But for now, I can just set that in a compartment. This will be totally portable. I can then pull it out if I'm going fishing in a buddy's boat and I want to fish out of the back of the boat using my live sonar. I can, with a little crazy, but I can, which is kind of cool. All right, so just that fact alone. If you're most other units, and in fact I didn't find a single other one, are all stationary mounts. You mount your bracket in, and it is going to be stuck there facing that direction, usually down tight and low, so a little more compact than this one. The bag is enormous, but this gives you some more customizable options, which is pretty cool, which is part of why I went for it. Now the pole, so this around the ice is actually fold up, which is also kind of nice, though typically I just leave them open all the time. And they have little pegs down here for helping to grip the ice. I had really good luck with this so far. When it's really cold, it starts to get icy and maybe sometimes hard to turn, but that's going to be the same with any system, as in like lots of ice. And I've been out in 20 below using it and still functioning great and doing that. And really, this actually takes me to my biggest complaint with this is how for Lowrance anyway, for Garmin it's easier, but for Lowrance, how it mounts to the bottom. So this one came with a mounting piece to put on there, but then the whole system sticks off a little ways, and you need a really big hole to get this down, and I wanted it mounted straight down. So I actually ordered a part to fit over the pole, and the pole's actually backwards. You can see I've got the screw top that should be going down onto that last little mounting piece, but so that way it mounts straight down off the end of the pole, so I can fit this down a smaller hole, and I can do all my adjustments and things really easily. Okay, so and I say big complaint, and it really was a pretty easy fix, but I've got some electrical tape doing stuff here rather than just having it work right. So for some people that would be a big deal, but for me, I'm pretty happy with it still. For turning everything, so handle, all that up there, right? Nothing too crazy there. I do actually have a Summit pole as well, which is super lightweight. I might play around with using that too, because this is big and chunky, and I wish I could extend and compact it quicker. This is 2 parts. So early ice, I take them apart and it's a lot smaller, but now it's super huge. So I may try the Summit pole, which then is telescoping, so that might be a little bit easier, but it's still pretty sweet. If you have questions about this, now I've been using it for a couple of months now. Live Sonar is amazing, and I know a lot of people hate on it, but when it goes to trying to find fish or search, and I'm out looking for crappies a lot of times, and you can look 50 feet to the side and say, oh, they're that way, or there's more fish that way, or there's activity that way, or whatever. Like, it just gives you direction, which is nice, whereas in the past it just drill a lot of holes and just keep going and see what happens. But so it's pretty cool. But as far as the system goes, liking it a lot. I remember the one bad thing. All right, the number one, there's one thing that was not good about this. Now this is a Lowrance specific deal. I'm gonna raise this up and screw this tight if I can, so that that stays out of the way. There we go. So down below here, you can see this little white plate. That is a cutting board, because the screw holes that are already in there are meant for the Garmin black box, not the Lowrance. Now when I first mounted it on, I was able to mount and use 2 holes. So I mounted just in 2 screw spots, and it was secure and good, but then I couldn't access this back spot for mounting my Lowrance unit. I really wanted to try that out, so I had to fix that. So I actually got a cheap plastic cutting board, and then use that to mount my black box to that, and then drilled some holes through there to mount to the green battery box. So that was a deal. I'm not an engineer. I'm barely even handy, and I was able to figure that out. It wasn't a huge deal, but definitely something that they should work out as far as how that mounts. Would be a big deal. But again, you can see how like I can have this tight here, and I can loosen this for turning, so that can turn. There's a lot of things you can do with it, which is pretty cool. Last thing, so when you have this bag, and this thing is giant, when I go to try and carry it, so I'll show you when it's all back in there, and I try to pick this up, it's kind of a pain. I wish there were a couple handles on the side down low for picking it up and literally just carrying it. Would be kind of convenient, actually. Super nice for that. But again, that's all that kind of stuff that you kind of get used to as you own something and use it and whatever. And figured out cable management is always kind of a weird deal, but that's the same with any system you have, because you need the cable. Depending on how far away you're getting from your unit to use it, all that business. But overall, pretty happy. Definitely check them out. Fishfindermounts.com. They were I was searching a long time before I came across them. And then once I found it, I thought, oh, this could be kind of awesome. So decided to go that route. So definitely go check that out. And hopefully this helps you out. If you have questions about it, wondering how it's going, so if you're watching this video and it's a year later, ask me about it, if I'm still using this, or if I switch things out, or if I found any other issues. Definitely ask. Happy to help. Yeah, hopefully you can get out and catch some fish this winter, next winter, over the summer, anytime. The amount of stuff we put into our boats, electronics, all that stuff, it's crazy, but it makes it fun. It makes it fun for a lot of people that would have a hard time getting out and catching anything, and they can figure some stuff out and have stuff to play with, so it's good. Okay, when I have it, so this is what is weird about this, like the whole point of having the bag is so I can seal it up really easy, and I can in the front, but you'll see that this is actually, the 12-inch screen, Lowrance anyway, is too wide for the bag, and so if I try to close the top, I'll close one side, but I can't close both sides. Sort of okay, because the cables come out, like you never can close it totally. There is a whole pocket at the top that you could use for the cable to come out on that, and I haven't messed with that at all yet. Might sometime, but haven't yet. So when the Lowrance unit is totally square in there, it's too wide for that unit. And so a lot of times when I store it, then I have to turn it a little bit for storage, and then it fits in there just fine, which is why having that front corner mount was actually better, because then I turned it to fit in there perfect. But so I'm gonna actually switch it back over to that right now too. But back to that, we'll see. Last thing, I might as well pop out here so you can see down in here. Maybe I'll have to grab the camera, but power going to the black box, power to my unit, and then to turn on. It also has USB, other things in there too, but like really, if I'm gonna be sucking power out of this to run other things, then what the heck am I doing out there ice fishing? Cool. Hopefully it helps you out. Get out and catch them. I like to think I could catch them without it, but it's just so much easier. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. There we go.